Welcome everyone to episode 65 of the VoiceOFpunk. I'm your host, the JF Punk. 64. Episode 64 of the VoiceOFpunk. For this episode, I just finished watching episode 5 of the last season of Sons of Anarchy, and I have to say, this episode so far is my favorite. I thought, in my personal opinion, I thought this episode was really good. It was action-packed, had a lot of story in it, and a lot of things just came to a head. Like, the title of the episode is Some Strange Eruption, and I really just gives you the heads up, like, almost everything that's happened so far is going to explode, which pretty much did. Some of the funny moments, that happened lots in the last episode, there wasn't really much in this episode, but it was fine. Like, you didn't really need much funny moments in this episode, because I don't think this episode really needed light moments. This episode was very well done, and without any further ado, let's get started. Basically what this episode is about is not only the aftermath of the massacre at the Osa, but also Jax's plan for Henry Lynn coming to a head, and Jax and Gemma's lies just biting them in the ass. With Jax, his lies to Nero, where Nero was pretty much, he was the peacekeeper between the Sam Crow and the Chinese and the Mayans and the Niners and what's his name? The guy who RoboCop plays, what's his name? Charlie, Brodsky. Yeah, that's his name. Sorry about that, I was brain dead there for a minute. And, so, with Jax's lies to Nero, he was telling Nero, I don't know who's hitting the Chinese, and then, after the whole massacre, the Chinese forces Nero to have a meeting, and Lynn tells him straight up, like, I know it was Sam Crow, somebody told me, I'm not saying who, but somebody told me, and I want you to deliver Jax Teller to me tonight, so I can kill him. And if you don't, I'm going to kill you, and if you decide to take a road trip, I'm going to kill your son. And right when Lynn said, if you don't do any of this, I'm going to kill your son, when he mentioned Nero's son, that was the deal breaker. And I felt so bad for him, because just the look on Nero's face, like when he heard Lynn threaten his son, Nero just snapped. He flipped. And before, I think it was, can't remember if it was commercial break or if it cut to the next scene, but the last shot of that scene with Nero, he just had a look on his face like he was done. He was done with Sam Crow, done with the war, done with the life. He just wanted to leave. And I really do wish at the end of this show that Nero is able to get out. Yes, for me personally, I think he deserves it, and I just hope he lives with his son. That's all I hope. I guess one of the funny moments is when Nero confronts Jax and they have this small little fight. That was kind of funny. At first it was like, holy shit, Nero was just going all out on Jax, but it was just like one punch, and then Jax and Nero just tumble over, and they're just gonna wrestle, in a way, they're like playing grab ass on the ground for like a minute, and like Brodsky is like, bring this shit up. This is embarrassing. So Jax, he figures out that, Wes is dead. Wes is dead, and somebody gave up the location of their guns to Lynn. It kind of hints in the episode that it was Brodsky. My parents just completely just screwed up his name, but they kind of get a hint that it was him, where they were interrogating his guy and Brodsky shoots him. but I don't know. Maybe it is him, like maybe because they made it so obvious, but I still think it was Jury, the president of the other Sam Crow chapter. Just from everything that has happened. So I still believe it was him, and I just think maybe they just threw in the whole scene with Borowski. I just think they threw out that scene just to maybe put some suspicion on him, but it just felt too obvious. So, and with Kurt Sutter, I don't think you can really expect this so obvious. So, I don't. It probably was Borowski, but I still think it was Jury who gave up the location, who snitched. And then like the whole thing with Jax, getting using Nero's plan, like using Nero's dilemma to his advantage, and is able to get Lynn right where he wants him. And I love that whole scene where they have Borowski's crooked cops have all Lynn's men chained up to the fence, and then so Jax and Lynn have their showdown. And I thought this was really well done because, first of all, Jax, he's been waiting for this moment, even though Lynn was not the one who had Tara killed. You can tell he's been waiting for this moment, and he just doesn't care. Like, he believes that Lynn had Tara killed, and he's not listening. And I love it where he's, he mentions, what was it necessary to kill my wife? And Lynn just looks at him and he says, the hell are you talking about? But everyone else caught it, but not Jax. I love that. I love that everyone else, like Chibs and Bobby, stare at each other. Tig is staring at, Tig is looking confused, happy as Nero is, but Jax is not listening. And, he just goes on this huge rant while saying, like, you did this to Tara, I wanted to do this to you, I want to do this to you, but I guess this will have to do. And he takes off his jacket, and Lynn, knowing he can't talk his way out of it and explain it wasn't him. I love this element that they give to Lynn. Knowing he can't explain himself and saying it wasn't him, when he saw Jax take off his jacket, he took off his own. He was like, you know what? You're not listening. I'm going to defend myself. And they had this really good fight. I was happy that they gave Lynn. It looks like he's like a fighter. He got some kicks in, got some punches. It almost looked like he was a perfect match for Jax in fighting. And then then Chibs gets a call from the new sheriff, where the new sheriff and Chibs are, they're together. Shown in one of the very first scenes of the episode, bare ass naked together. I thought that was so funny. Chibs is walking out with a towel, and like the sheriff walking out with a towel around her body. I was like, oh my god, oh yeah. I was like, attaboy. I started talking like Chibs, going, attaboy. But she calls them, saying cops are coming, and Chibs is like, oh shit. So Bobby and Chibs hold Jax back, and Jax is not listening, and he tells Bobby to give me your gun, I want to kill Lynn. But they convince Jax to get him out, and Lynn is arrested. That was pretty much all of Jax's story, and let me tell you, it was really good. Like that story, the whole story with Jax, that was the main story of the episode, and it was really good. It was very suspenseful, I thought. But the most suspenseful story of this episode, I personally thought, was Juice and Gemma. Especially the ending. But even though we know how the ending is going to go because it kind of screwed it up with the promos, but Gemma is like, all right, Juice, me and you are going to my dad's place, and like Gemma is going to kill Juice. You know that. And I love this development with Juice. In the last few episodes, he was so depressed. So just... like, he was so depressed, so lonely, so just, like, distraught. In this episode, he toughened up. And he toughened up the second he knew that Gemma was lying. And, he confesses to Gemma, saying, like, because Gemma tells him, we're going to Mexico, Nero's going to help us out in the Mayans, and, Juice just very calmly tells her why he confessed, what he done, and why the club wants him dead. And then he tells her, after he says everything, that's why Nero is not going to help me. And that's why I know you're lying. And Gemma just reaches for her gun, but Juice stops her and they crash. And Gemma's running for her life. And I love the where Juice just shoots at her. She falls down. He doesn't hit her. Which I thought he shot her in the leg, but it turns out he didn't. I guess he just kind of stalled her. And she's begging, she's sobbing for her life. And Juice is pointing the gun at her and he says, I trusted you. Why are you going to kill me? I trusted you. I saved you. And she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know what else to do. And just look on Juice's face. You can tell he was like, you treacherous bitch. And that's the last time you see them, with Juice pointing the gun at Gemma. And it's a cliffhanger saying, is he going to kill Gemma? He's going to kill Gemma. We all know he's not. Gemma has scenes with this actress from Glee coming up, and Juice is not going to die either, because he has stuff for the Mayans. I have a feeling Juice... I don't know if Juice will die this season. I'm hoping Gemma will. I'm hoping Gemma dies. I don't think Juice will. I don't know. Maybe he will, but he has that meeting with the Mayans saying, "I'll give you everything you want to know to Sam Crow." So maybe this is with the whole thing with the Mayans, stick to Marcus, with Juice saying, "I'll give you everything you want to know on Sam Crow," and in the promos. Either this is going to be him getting back at Gemma and trying to get back into the club, or it's just him saying, you know what, fuck you all. Gemma was like my mom, and even she betrayed me. She's not loyal, the club's not loyal, I'm not loyal anymore, so fuck you all. So I don't know what that's going to mean. I hope, if Juice makes a smart move, I think the smart move would be giving the information that Gemma killed Hera. I think that's what he should do. And then maybe use that to get back into the club, or, something like that. But I don't know. And I think it'll be good in either way. But for me personally, I prefer that happening. Kurt Sutter did say that in episode 10, I think it was, a major character was going to die, and it wasn't Juice. So when I heard that, I think it's going to be Tig. Which, if it is Tig, I'm not going to be too heartbroken on it. I love Tig, don't get me wrong. But if I had to choose, I would much rather see Tig die than, say, Chibs. I want Chibs to live. For sure, I love Chibs. He's one of my favorite characters on the show. And he's also my girlfriend's favorite character, too. So I want Chibs to live, but if Tig dies, you know what? It will suck, but I can see it happening. Either him or Bobby, I can see dying. I don't want Bobby to die either, but again, it's the lesser of two evils, in my view. So, that was, it's a pretty short episode. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this episode. I thought it was really good. It brought almost everything to a head, and I can't wait to see where the season goes now. Oh, right. Before I go, I want to mention Abel. Oh, wow, I felt so sad with Abel. you know, everyone is on lockdown. Not at the clubhouse anymore, but at the porn studio, which I thought it was kind of weird to have the kids, but you know, whatever. And you also see like Nero's son is there now, so that was really good. They saved him. But Abel, you know, Abel's a smart kid. He knows something's going on. He knows somebody's dead. And he has a talk with Jax. And I liked it. I liked finally Jax was able to have a conversation with his son. And, you know, he tells them everyone is under my protection. I'm responsible for everybody. I take care of everybody. And then later on the episode, I felt so sad. This was really this moment coming up. I felt such a strange difference of emotion. You know what I mean? Like one was it was really adorable that Abel was going to take care of Thomas, his brother, but then at the same time, I felt so sad and depressed that this is happening. You know, Wendy calls Gemma over, saying, you know, Abel's act. No, it wasn't Wendy. It was Brooke, wasn't it? Sorry, somebody's cooking upstairs. I think it was Brooke, the new girl for Rat Boy. Come up to say, you know, Abel's acting out, and you see Abel at the stroller with Thomas, and he has a hammer. I got so nervous. And he's saying, you know, no one's going to hurt my brother. No one's going to hurt Thomas. And he wants to go home. He wants to go home. And when Gemma says, no, we're not going home, he hits the wall with the hammer saying, I want to go now. And, you know, Thomas starts crying. And, you know, Abel says, I'm sorry, Tommy. And it was, you can see he's dangerous. He's going to grow up to be a dangerous man, Abel, if he's not taken out of this environment. And, that part of the episode I thought was so depressing. But, dude, I hope everything works out with the kids. Probably Wendy is probably the best suited person to take them. I know I'm not the first person to say that. I know a lot of fans have been saying that, but I think Wendy would be the one to take him and hopefully help him. So, those are my thoughts on this episode. I thought it was really good. Can't wait where the season goes to. I don't know if we saw the last of Henry Lind. I don't think we have, but maybe, I don't know. But this episode was really well done, I thought. Best so far. And I will see you guys in the next episode with some more SOA goodness. Later, guys.